This video is powered by BetUS. What is your confidence level in Matt Eberflus's ability to lead this football team going forward? Matt Eberflus is 11-26 since becoming the Chicago Bears head coach. 11 wins and 26 losses. I do have to add that it's unfair to blame Eberflus entirely for the record. He was hired knowing that Ryan Poles was going to tear this roster down and rebuild. And one of Matt Eberflus's biggest jobs was laying the foundation for this roster and helping establish the culture of a winning team. But the reality was, the first 2 years, it was a clear rebuild. And now in year 3, instead of turning the corner and trying to compete, we reset the clock and drafted a rookie quarterback. So it is kind of unfair to blame Matt Eberflus for all of this. But the NFL stands for not for long in some circles, and we live in a microwave society that demands instant results. So if Eberflus doesn't turn the corner and win at least 8 games this season, it is fair to wonder if he will be fired. And as fans, we have to ask ourselves, should we want to hire a new head coach after this season? I've heard people say it's going to be okay. We're going to fire Waldron and Eberflus after the season, and Poles will have his pick of the top offensive play callers, guys like Bobby Slowick from the Texans or Ben Johnson from the Lions. I wanted to talk about both sides of the spectrum, the positives and the negatives. First, it is easy to get excited about thinking about hiring Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator. Having a guy like that calling plays, the same guy that helped turn CJ Stroud into an MVP candidate, the same guy that helped the Texans offense go from worst to first. And it's also easy to get excited about potentially hiring Ben Johnson from the Lions. Stealing a top young offensive mind from a division rival would not only weaken the Lions, but potentially solve our long-standing problem of finding a legit play caller on offense. That sounds like a win-win. The allure of having one of those young NFL head coaches that turn into great play callers is always going to intrigue me. Also, I want to do a special thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Use code YouTube150 to get a 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Head over to betus.com now. BetUS is my sportsbook and casino. But there is a downside to this, especially after not firing Eberflus last season. The Bears would be following the same path they always have with their rookie quarterbacks, and that recipe has not led to any success. The formula was this: drafting a quarterback in the first round, and then firing the head coach after his rookie season, bringing in a new head coach year 2, and having your quarterback learn an entirely new offense in his second season. It's tough on the quarterback, because year 2 is usually when QBs take their biggest jump in the NFL. But instead of being able to focus and improve on getting better, he'd be learning and installing a new offense. I talked about this right after the season ended. If the plan all along was to draft Caleb Williams, why didn't we bring in Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson this offseason? And go ahead and get started with one of those young football minds. Try to get our own Matt LaFleur or Kevin O'Connell. Maybe we could have even given Cliff Kingsbury a chance, but I'm not a big fan of that one. However, Ryan Poles chose to stick with Matt Eberflus, and I've said all along I trust Ryan Poles. But there's no way Ryan Poles is watching this football team and saying Matt Eberflus's job is just safe. I get it, they're friends, and they do have a connection. But he's definitely evaluating Matt Eberflus this season. I do want to give Flus credit. I think he's done a great job building the culture around the locker room and getting these guys to play hard. I have to give Flus credit for that. This team really does play hard, and the culture inside that locker room seems awesome. But you need more than that to win in the NFL. You need play callers and coaches that can out-scheme your opponent. The NFL is becoming more and more like a chess match between coaches. And now that the Bears finally have a legit franchise quarterback prospect that is capable of passing for big-time yardage, should we stick with Matt Eberflus? What if he turns it around and wins 8 to 10 games this year and sneaks in the playoffs? Then he's probably safe, right? But sitting here today, I am wondering about Caleb Williams' future. I want what's best for Caleb and the Bears. I also think Eberflus deserves criticism. I also think Matt Eberflus deserves some criticism for not playing the starters more during the preseason. That was clearly his decision, and this offense could definitely have benefited from more reps together. And then there's another point. I've been wondering if maybe Coach Eberflus has a limited ceiling as a head coach. You can only do so much as a culture guy, and at the end of the day, you have to score more points than the other team to win. And on top of that, we've assembled so much talent on defense that Eric Washington or someone else might be able to run this defense just as well as Eberflus does. So to me, the clock is ticking for Matt Eberflus. But with a rookie quarterback, it is possible he gets another season no matter what happens this year. I do think we have to give Matt Eberflus credit for how well this defense is played, though. They have 9 straight games of allowing 21 points or less, and Sunday was the first time giving up more than 21 points since midway through last season. And there's no way we would have given up 21 points if the Colts didn't force a fumble and get the ball back already in scoring position. Also, on top of that, the Bears rank top 5 in the NFL in defensive efficiency, which measures how good a defense has performed overall. So Eberflus has this defense playing like a top 5 unit in the NFL, even with all of the 3 and outs and struggles on offense, including turnovers. But at the end of the day, the Bears have always had good defenses, so this one is a mixed bag. And I think this new era of Bears football needs to feature offense and scoring points. And in order to do that, we're going to have to improve the offensive line. Eberflus is clearly safe for the rest of the season, but I do think that his job status after 2024 depends on how this team plays over the next 14 games. Matt Eberflus is not safe, but he is safe for now. We already know the Bears do not fire head coaches mid-season. So for Eberflus's evaluation, he has 14 games remaining to win this front office over. Over the next 5 games, he has a real opportunity to get things going. But 3 full seasons should be enough time to evaluate Flus as a head coach. If we cannot turn things around, I hate that we would have to start over in Caleb's second year with the new head coach, but I do love the thought of pairing Caleb with one of the up-and-coming play callers in the NFL. There's positives and negatives about the situation, but this is a new era of Bears football, so I do want things to be different this time. I like Flus, but I'm not confident that he is the guy to lead this new era. I haven't given up yet, but the clock is ticking. He has 14 games to win us over. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Matt Eberflus. I'm headed back to the film room. Quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more Bears coverage. I appreciate everyone who watches. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.